Good morning, everyone. I'm Deborah Giddings. I am the Prayer Chaplain Ministry Lead here at Unity of Greater Hartford, and welcome, welcome. We're so glad you're with us today. And we're going to be starting the service in just a few moments. But until we start, take this opportunity to go up to our website, unityhartford.org. Hi, Diana. And download the bulletin. So you'll have the words to the peace song on that. You'll have our order of service. And you'll be ready to go. Hi, Joanne. So go ahead and take time to go ahead and do that now. We're going to just have a little piano music and greet each other. Take a moment to greet each other. Love seeing comments in the comments field with each other. It's so nice to have that community. And we'll be starting in just a few minutes. So welcome.
morning, good morning. Excuse me. Thank you, Carolyn, and thank you, Deborah. My name is Reverend Christine Boylan, and we're so glad you're here with us today at Unity of Greater Hartford. And as you saw, we are with our music director, Carolyn Fisher, our prayer chaplain lead, Deborah Giddings, and our new sound master, Tony Bensko. And thank you to all of you who are joining us today. I see Laurie Myrick and my brother, oh my goodness, and Diana and a few other people there, yeah. So, please, as Deborah said, throughout the service, talk to each other, send up emojis. I love the emojis. Send them up, let me know that you're here, and we are so grateful to be seeing all of you today. So again, as Deborah said, you can go up to our website and open the bulletin, download it, and be able to better follow along today. And of course, our website is unityhartford.org. So our opening statement. Our opening statement is that unity is a positive path for spiritual living. And here at Unity, we welcome, value, and include all people. And so I said before, welcome to all of you this morning. And so let's take a moment to begin in prayer. And so today, our prayer is going to focus on true oneness. I saw this affirmation on the website earlier this week, and it said, "Between me and you, there is no between. Between me and you, there is no between. Between you and me, there is no between. There is no between." And so as we take that in to our hearts, to our minds, to our very soul, this morning we pray affirming, there is no between. There is only oneness. We pray claiming that we can better see. Claiming spiritual eyesight. 2020 spiritual vision. So what looks to our physical eyes as discord, disharmony, separate, we breathe into our spiritual eyesight where we have true 2020 vision. Between me and you, there is no between. Say that to yourself this morning. Between me and you, there is no between. And as we say this again and again in our heart, in our mind, in our very soul, our hearts overflow with gratitude, with joy. For we know there is no between. And we say thank you. Thank you, sweet Spirit. So we have a few announcements today. And our Wednesday night service is continuing right here on Facebook. So join us every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. And our prayer theme this month of July is joy. So we should have some really heart-filling experiences at our Wednesday healing meditation service. So please join us. And on Monday evenings, we're continuing with our 12 spiritual powers. That's on Facebook, that's on Zoom from 6:30 to 8:30, and all the information, a registration link, and everything is on the front page of our website and in our newsletter. Hello, Lee Dittman. I know, I'm going to still keep calling you out while I'm here. And we have a new Zoom discussion that's coming up. Hello, Wendy and Liston and Sandra. And that Zoom discussion is called Inside the Mind of a Master Procrastinator. And that's going to be held on Tuesday, July 28th, the last Tuesday in July, from 6:30 to 8 o'clock. Join us, we'll watch a 15-minute TED Talk about procrastination, and it's pretty funny. And then stay for a fun, lighthearted discussion that will be facilitated by Deborah Giddings. So don't procrastinate. Put that on your calendar and join us. And August 2nd, we're going to have a virtual potluck on Zoom. And, as many of you who are longtime congregants here at Unity of Greater Hartford, the first Sunday of every month, we would hold a real potluck, and we can't quite do that right now, but we can certainly hold a virtual potluck. So, and that would mean for you to join us on Zoom and bring with you a recipe and be willing to share that with people. And if you really want to make us motivated to make your recipe, you could make it yourself and show it to us. Just don't eat it if it's really yummy, because then we'll get hungry. But I think it'll be fun, and I hope that you will plan to join us for that. And finally, thank you for all our Sacred Service teams who met and are putting together answers, suggestions, ideas to the questions that were submitted to them so that we can start finalizing our reopening plans. We don't have a date, but we know that eventually we will reopen. And we thank all of you for doing that. And I see that Kate Morrison just came on, so another shout out to Kate Morrison, who the other day got onto Facebook for Unity of Greater Hartford and read the Daily Word with all of you. So if you haven't had a chance to see that, please go. It's listed in our videos there. Hello, Suzette and Afnai and everyone else who is joining us this morning. I'm so glad you're here. And so now we're ready for our opening song. Now that all of you are here.
Now that Kate's here, we can sing. It's so nice to just hear Reverend Christine read your names. It makes my heart a little warmer. All right, so today we are singing Opening Up to the Good. Let's do that together. I'm opening up to the good. I'm opening up to the good. I'm opening up to the good that is my life. I'm opening up to the joy. I'm opening up to the joy. I'm opening
Actually, sorry, have to go the other way. Back up. Oops. Okay. Good morning. In case you don't know me, I'm Deborah Giddings, and I'm so delighted to be here with you. Let's join together in saying our statement of faith. I'm going to say a line, and then Carolyn is going to repeat it, so feel free to repeat it when Carolyn speaks. There is only one presence and one power.
There is only one presence and one power.
Active as the universe and as my life.
Active as the universe and as my life.
God the good, omnipotent. Amen.
God the good, omnipotence. Amen.
And today's daily word is on guidance. And the affirmation is, I am divinely guided. Guidance can be easy to find in the outer world. Maps and GPS technology can help me navigate my way just about everywhere. Everywhere I go, there are signs marking streets, adorning storefronts, and providing just about every kind of information and opinion imaginable. Spiritual guidance is not as evident, but it is much more valuable. This guidance can come to me as a persistent tug on my attention, as a gut feeling or intuition, or even in a dream as I sleep. I pay attention to the guidance I receive and step out in faith to move my steps in its direction. I know that the spirit of wisdom and love within me are always guiding me to blessings of greater peace, love, and prosperity. And from Psalms 25, verse 4, make me known to your ways, O Lord, teach me your paths. So let's just take that affirmation into our hearts, breathing into the silence, and knowing that I am divinely guided. I am divinely guided. I am divinely guided, and so it is. Amen. Namaste.
So good morning again. Thank you, Carolyn, and thank you, Deborah. Last Sunday we talked about freedom. And yet, how can you really be free at a time like this? Many people are feeling frustrated, irritated, grumpy, and even sad. While we may be thankful for all that we do have in our lives, we are also grieving for all that no longer is visible and tangible. Perhaps you even feel a bit guilty about saying how you feel, thinking you may appear selfish or whiny or ungrateful. It doesn't matter, as you feel what you feel. And right now, you may not be feeling very free and happy. And often when we're not feeling so great, we take it out on those people who love us the most, because we know that they love us. Or because we're stuck inside with them all the time. Others tend to take out their pain and use it as a weapon on those they don't know, usually those in the service sector. Either way, we actually end up feeling worse than before. And now the pain is even more intense. Help, right? So I thought it might be time for a refresher on the book, The Four Agreements, by Don Miguel Ruiz. This book was published in 1997, so I'm sure that many of you have read it, Maybe you even spent time in a book study or have heard a minister talk or preach about it before. But as I looked through my bookshelves to find some inspiration to assist us, this book jumped out on the shelf at me. And when I opened it, on the cover page, I saw this line right above the name of the book, and I don't remember ever having seen it before. And I was really quite shocked. It says, A Practical Guide to Personal Freedom. Well, that settled it. This is the book. So this Sunday, we're going to explore the first two agreements. Be impeccable with your word, and don't take anything personally. And next week, we'll tackle the third and fourth agreements. Now, there's no way I can fully explore this book in 2 short Sunday talks. So I'm hoping that I will motivate you to go back and reread this book, if in fact you desire to awaken the freedom that is you. So as I reviewed this book and finally got to the end, I realized that the last chapters were actually a great way to begin. Ever do that? Read the last chapter first? Well, you're doing that today. The author states that freedom has to do with the human spirit, the real us, the truth of us. And he tells us that if we desire to feel free and happy, then we will probably need to break some old agreements and make some new ones. You know what that means, don't you? Yeah. It means we'll probably need to change. And no change comes without awareness, self-awareness. I often pray to be awake and aware, open and receptive. Once you're aware, then you can say no to the old and yes to the new. But many of us live in a fog, not really questioning or challenging a thought or a feeling, an emotion, or a belief. Well, the author tells us that there are 3 masteries. The mastery of awareness, the mastery of transformation, and the mastery of intent. And he uses another word for intent, love. And each one builds on the other. So the freedom we seek begins within. The freedom to choose what we believe and how we want to respond. And that has to begin with awareness, the mastery of awareness, unflinching, honest awareness. Then and only then can we really say no to what no longer serves us and yes to what is in the highest and best for me and everyone else. We can choose to live heaven on earth, and when we are choosing that, there's no grumpiness. Heaven or hell, it is our individual choice, but we first need to choose self-awareness. When we choose to become aware, we're going to run right into our fears and the resulting emotions. And then we get to stand in our faith. Faith that, in fact, we are divine, are endowed with spiritual powers that will help us to master our emotions instead of fueling them. We get to use denials and affirmations as spiritual tools to self-awareness. We then can move to a mastery of transformation. We now create a new dream, a new set of beliefs about ourselves, others, and the world. We transform when we choose a new dream of love, when we choose to live the 4 agreements, when we choose to model the 5 unity principles. What is your transformation about? Define it, write it down, and affirm it every day. It's simply not enough to say no, to even shout that no, that's not the truth of me. I refuse to live in fear anymore. That strong no must be followed by a strong yes. You need to choose with open mind and heart, in full awareness, and then daily remind yourself, no to this and yes to that. We need to daily pray with denials and affirmations, and then transformation takes hold. This is when old stuff comes up and we become triggered. Ever hear that? Triggered? Often when we hear this, or even when we say it, it sounds like someone or something did something to us. That triggered me. She triggered me. Wrong. We instead have chosen to respond in fear because we have an old belief that we're unaware of, or that we decided not to deal with. So in actuality, you triggered you. Now, how to stop being triggered? Forgive yourself and everyone else. Yep, forgive. Doesn't mean you agree with them, but it does mean that through forgiveness, you set yourself free. So if you hear someone's name or someone's voice, and there is even the teeny, tiny, 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 tiny negative emotion, then you still have some forgiveness work to do. It simply means that a wound is not yet healed, and you're not yet ready to be transformed and to experience the freedom of you. So be kind to yourself and forgive. And then finally, the mastery of intent or of love. This is where your intention is to be the very expression of love so as to create heaven on earth, which is to be love right here and now, to be the freedom of you. Once you are living awareness and transformation and every day practicing the 4 agreements, it just happens. There's no striving for it. It just happens. So now we're ready to go back and look at those first 2 agreements. Be impeccable with your word. You know, when everything is going well in our lives and in the world, this can be kind of easy. But when we perceive that all is not going well, or in fact might be going off the rails, then this agreement flies out the window. And if you don't believe me, spend some time on Facebook. Right out the window. Now, being impeccable with your word is not about happy babble. It is about awareness and being purposeful in your speech. I have a friend who once told me that when someone would say something to her that might be considered hurtful, she would ask, was that intended for my good? Can we talk about that? And this question and openness would usually spark awareness and allow for transformation for both parties, instead of allowing it to hit a fear button and then react in kind or in woundedness, which would cascade into more fear and more hurt. The author in the 4 agreements says that if this is the only agreement that you work on and live in, then you will be tremendously free and happy. And in unity, we know the importance of our word, our voice. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Be careful of what you attach your I am to. I am fearful and hurt, or I am full of love and awareness. We have been given this spiritual attribute of power that symbolically resides in our throat or voice box. Shall we use this spiritual power as love in action or as hate or fear in action. Charles Fillmore, a Unity co-founder, tells us that the voice is the most direct avenue of the expression of God, the power of God in action. When we are impeccable with our words, when we are aware, thoughtful, loving, forgiving in our words, we will be creating and experiencing the divine in action. We will be experiencing the freedom of us, heaven on earth. Now, one caveat here. When you stumble, and we will all stumble, just become aware, seek transformation through self-forgiveness and accountability. Just fess up. Discover the love and the freedom of yourself. The second agreement. Don't take anything personally. Woo!
Good luck with that.
Yeah, good luck with that. Absolutely. There's another one that's on Facebook all the time. You said what? And you know, it's funny, I know plenty of mature adults who very easily say, well, I don't do that. I can't, you know, because of something that happened long, long ago. Because someone at some time told them this about themselves or said this about them. Could be a parent, a sibling, a spouse, said something negative, and they or we, all of us, decided to accept it as a fact and as something that is now true. And we're somehow stuck with it. My mom told me many times that I was just as clumsy as she was. And for a long time, I believed her. I was told that because I was smart, I wasn't creative. That since I couldn't sing like so-and-so, I couldn't sing. Well, none of that is true unless I decide it is. Today, I believe that I am graceful. I am creative. And yes, I can too sing. Well, what about you? What opinions, ideas, thoughts have you adopted and ended up agreeing with? Pick one. And today decide if you want to continue agreeing with this opinion, or will you choose to say no? That is not my truth. And then take the next step and proudly proclaim my truth is. Write it down. Affirm it daily. Your opinion about yourself is the only opinion that counts. Your opinion about someone else just doesn't matter. I sometimes find that the people who take a lot of things very personally are also the people who have lots of opinions about others. Same coin. Let it go and be free. We all see the world with different eyes. And so it may take some time and effort and love to find a place of agreement. But I promise you, that place of agreement is there. And when you decide it is, you'll find it. Because between you and me, there is no between. But what about the opinion you have about yourself? Often we do say affirming, loving things about ourselves, and we want to believe them, but there is still that voice in our head saying, oh, you're not smart enough, not pretty enough, not capable enough, just not enough. And then we end up living in conflict, self-conflict. Let go of this addiction to self-conflict and suffering. Say no to the false and say yes to the truth. The author tells us that when we take nothing personally, we can break these old, worn-out lies that trap us in our addiction to our suffering. Jesus told us that we will know the truth, and the truth will set us free. Practicing the second agreement can go deep within yourself to break down the beliefs you adopted about you that you know are not true. You don't need to remain trapped in hell when you can live in heaven right now today and be the freedom that is you. This week, commit to living in awareness and to practice these two agreements. The author tells us that we can choose to follow our heart and our truth. And so no matter what happens or where we find ourselves out here, we are freedom. We are the activity of the divine. We are the creator of heaven on earth, if we choose. Be free, be happy, and let's continue this discussion next week. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you. Yay. So, where are my notes? There they are. They're hiding from me. So now it's our time to have an offering, to bless an offering. And so, of course, when we talk about blessing and offering, for many of us, that goes immediately to a tangible gift, a tithe. And we say thank you. We thank all of you who are continuing to give.
Yes.
If it's at the same level as the beginning of the year, thank you, thank you. If it's at a reduced level because things have changed in your life, we say thank you, thank you. There's no gift too small. There's no gift too big. We just say thank you. And so you can mail a check in to us. You can also go to our website and hit that little button give and give an offering for today. You could also set up to have your offering given automatically every week, every 2 weeks, every month, whatever works for you. But thank you for those gifts because we know they come from your love of unity and from your love of this unity community. But there's also an intangible gift. And we want right now for you to focus on intangible gift. What's that intangible gift that you would like to give to your unity community today? Perhaps it is love. Perhaps it is harmony, peace, wisdom, kindness. Whatever it is, strength, faith. Hold that in your heart as together we say our prayer, as together we say our offering blessing. And I'm going to say a line and ask Carolyn to repeat it after me and along with you. So together now. Divine love flowing as me.
Divine love flowing as me.
Blesses and multiplies all that I am and have.
Blesses and multiplies all that I am and have.
All that I give and receive.
All that I give and receive.
And so it is. Amen.
And so it is. Amen.
Now, in a minute, we're going to be singing our Unity Peace song, followed by the prayer for protection, and then a really great final song by Carolyn. And then maybe we'll scan the pews today. We'll see. So, let's begin with our peace song together.
Family
together, our prayer for protection, and please repeat after me with Carolyn. Oh, I love all those emojis going up. So, our prayer for protection together. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God.
The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God.
The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God.
The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God.
The power of God protects us. I am the power of God.
The power of God protects us. I am the power of God.
The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God.
The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God.
Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
So thank you to everyone being here today. We do have our closing song, but I want to thank Deborah Giddings, who's the head of our prayer chaplain team. I want to thank our prayer chaplains today for being here, for holding sacred space, for reminding people about our email where you can request prayer request at unityhartford.org, or of course Silent Unity. And I also want to thank our office manager, Tony Vensko, for being our sound master today, and also dog sitting my new puppy. And of course, the wonderful Carolyn Fisher, who has one more song for us. So, Carolyn, what is our final song today?
Our final song is Simple Man. It's by Ronnie Van Zant and Gary Rossington, a.k.a. Leonard Skinner. Mama told me You can do it.